the bush, whatever you call the bush on the tree, or if it's the lower right-hand corner, or if it's the central part of the bush. Does it matter if it's the central part of the bush or the upper left-hand quadrant or the lower left-hand quadrant? Of course not. Do you do a special treatment for the tree or for the bush if the leaves are affected on the bottom or if they're on the top or in the middle? That's a question for you, Carl.
No, absolutely not. You treat it from the root cause.
Of course. It doesn't matter where the disease shows up. This is obfuscation, which means confusion. It is perpetuated by a model that wants us disempowered. The medical model, I'm not blaming doctors here, because some of them are just as bamboozled as we are. Some of them are just as brain-addled and confused and misled as we are. It's not the doctor's fault. It's the model's fault. The model perpetuates disease. The model perpetuates disempowerment. The model perpetuates this deification of itself, where we just go to the doctor because we're sick and the doctor will help us and we'll get this drug or that drug. It's like the emperor's new clothes. Nobody notices that the doctor's naked, that the medical model's not wearing any clothes. Nobody notices that we got more drugs than ever before. More drugs than ever before. We're taking more drugs than ever before. We're spending more money on drugs than ever before. We're spending more money on doctors and diagnoses and insurance companies than ever before. But we're not getting better. We're not even staying the same. We're getting sicker. The more doctoring we do, the more drugs we take, the more surgeries we undergo, the more insurance benefits we get, the sicker we are. I mean, I know I say this every day on the bright side, and Dr. Glidden says it, and Dr. Wallach says it, and a lot of other wonderful healthcare professionals say it, but we still are bamboozled by this idea that the medical model can help us. You guys, the medical model is impotent at the level of degenerative disease. When was the last time anybody ever had their arthritis or Parkinson's or diabetes or kidney disease or autoimmune disease reverse or improve by drugs or by doctoring? When was the last time? Never, because it can't happen. On the other hand, that's the bad news. On the other hand, the good news is we don't need to be medicalized. We don't need to be doctorized. We don't need to be prescriptionized. We don't need to have our organs removed from our body. In fact, there's never a time when you want your organs removed from your body, save for cancer. If you have a degenerative disease like Parkinson's, what you want to do is you want to figure out what the heck is getting into the body that's causing this breakdown, that's preventing the regenerative process from kicking in. I'll spend a lot of time on this tomorrow, but just for now, please understand, number one, if you have a degenerative disease, it can be reversed because it's in the body's nature to reverse. If you have a degenerative disease, number two, a drug or a doctor cannot help you, period. I'm not saying most of the time, I'm saying all of the time, because it's not a doctor issue, unless the doctor, of course, is using non-doctor strategies. Number three, if you have a degenerative disease, first and foremost, focus on what is getting into the body, what is getting into the closed system called the human body, what is entering into this system that is causing this distress. Behind all degenerative disease, you will find a body in distress. Yesterday, I did a call for my friend Sanjeev, a conference call. A bunch of you guys were probably on it. We talked about weight loss, and we talked about body fat. We talked about people who can't lose weight. Well, this is the same thing. If you have a body that's fat, you got a body that's in distress. If you have a body that can't lose weight, you have a body in distress. If you have Parkinson's disease, you have a body in distress. If you have arthritis or cancer or autoimmunity, you have a body in distress. How do you address these issues? You figure out what's causing the distress. Most always, it's going to be something entering into the body through the digestive system, which is why the first thing always is to focus on digestive health. Number one, eliminate problem foods. Do a food diary. If you want to pick one single move to make, and probably more than one, but there's not a lot, but probably more than one, but if you want to pick one, focus on what foods are causing digestive distress. And don't get this idea, well, I'm gluten-free. It doesn't matter. If you have Parkinson's disease and you're gluten-free, there's something else. Obviously, there's something else going on. Don't say, oh, I eat healthy. It doesn't matter, because spinach can cause a problem. Tomatoes can cause a problem. Lettuce can cause a problem. So what we think is healthy may not be. You got to go by your symptoms. If you have a digestive issue, a malabsorption issue, something percolating in the digestive tract, you're going to know it by your digestive symptoms. Unfortunately, the brain has a way of kind of shutting things down or shutting down perception if something occurs all the time. So if we've had a digestive reaction or a digestive problem ever since we were a little kid, we're not necessarily going to notice it when we're 30 or 40 or 50, because our brain doesn't pick things up if they happen all the time. The brain is always going to look for surprises. It kind of tunes things out when they occur all the time. We get used to things. We acclimate to things. So the brain kind of has a way of tricking us into not noticing constipation, not noticing gas or bloating, not noticing nausea or queasiness or loose stools or diarrhea if they occur all the time, which is why it's so important to write things down. Do a food diary. Keep a list of everything you eat, and then write down how you feel or how your digestive system reacts an hour, 2 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours later. That's called a food diary, and it's the most important step in recovery or regeneration. The second thing you want to do is eat less food. Every time we eat anything, it puts a major burden on the body, even good food. So just by eating less food, we can help the body heal itself. Use probiotics and fermented foods. Next to a food diary, next to eating less food, a good probiotic supplement, a good eating lots of fermented food, making sure you're getting a good quantity of these bacteria is the most important thing you can do. Use the Biolumin Nightly Essence. Use the new Beyond Organic products from Jordan Rubin. Get on the Soirvie. Get on the Amasai. These are fermented dairy products. Even the cheese has probiotics in it. Use fermented beets and sauerkraut and miso and tempeh. Anything you could do that's got anything you can eat that's a fermented food is going to be in your interest. Get a book called The Joy of Fermentation, or get another book called Wild Fermentation. Both of those have wonderful recipes for making your own fermented foods. Make sure you're using bone soup. Bone soup not only is liquid protein, ready to work, ready to go into action without requiring a lot of digestive processing, but not only that, it's got coating and soothing materials that can coat and soothe and accelerate the healing of the digestive system. Use the glucogel caps. Use gelatin. Eat cartilage. Make sure you're using the noni juice. Make sure you're using aloe juice. All of these can have a wonderful soothing and healing effect for the digestive system. So much more, but that's a wonderful start, and it's drug-free. You'll feel better, you'll sleep better, and you can reverse any degenerative disease. Thanks so much, Carl. Sorry I went on, but call back tomorrow and we'll finish up. All right, that's all the time we have for today. On the bright side, tomorrow we'll take some of your letters and